very good morning to you out there, Seattle Kraken fans and NHL fans. Thank you for dropping by the channel. Got a quick Morning Cup of Kraken update for you guys today. Like we do here, I like to go around the league in about 10 minutes or less, give you the Kraken updates. We're going to take a look at the playoff series. We're going to talk a little bit about draft lottery, some bizarre moments last night in the NHL that happened, and we're going to take a look at the scores and recap all of the games going on through the playoffs here. We're about halfway through round one and the action is really heating up. So without further ado, really glad to have you guys along. If you want to hit that subscribe button, it helps me grow the channel. And of course, I appreciate all the support as always. So let's get into today's Morning Cup of Kraken. So keeping up with the Kraken a little bit here in the American Hockey League, AHL, the Charlotte Checkers, they'll end up being the Firebirds next year out there in Coachella Valley on the West Coast. But this year they're sitting out there in Charlotte in the Calder Cup Trophy playoffs, waiting in the semifinals in the Atlantic Division, trying to make a run there. You've got Joey Daccord trying to lead the way. He's played great in the AHL this season, struggled a little bit in his appearances for the Kraken, but nonetheless, he was doing a great job down there, Charlotte. So we'll have to keep a close eye on the Checkers down there, watch how they do through those playoffs and during that run, hoping that they make it as far as they can and see some of those players continue to develop on that roster before they make their way up to the Seattle Kraken. You've also got Riker Evans, a Kraken prospect there, turning professional now, signs his entry-level contract with the Kraken and is expected to make that jump over to the AHL and join the Checkers for their Calder Cup run. So we'll see what they can do. Really excited to see how that plays out for them down the stretch. A couple other newsworthy items there for the Kraken. You've got Chris Driedger, who's going to join Team Canada, and Philipp Grubauer, the German gentleman, going to join his team, his national team, Germany, in the IIHF World Championships. Those start mid-May, run through the end of the month, so excited to see how those guys, both of your Kraken goalies, going out there to play for their national teams through that run. Should be a good one. Gonna have to tune into that. Also, we've got that NHL draft lottery coming at you this week on Tuesday, May 10th. You're going to want to tune in on ESPN, ESPN Plus, Sportsnet, wherever you're watching from. Remember, your Seattle Kraken are going to have an 11.5% chance at that #1 overall pick. Montreal Canadiens with the best overall odds there at 18.5%, and the Arizona Coyotes in there at number 2, 13.5%. So it's going to be interesting to see that play out. A couple items to note there. Chicago's pick is top 2 protected and would transfer to 2023 first round pick there via that Seth Jones trade. And Vegas's pick is actually top 10 protected as well, and that would transfer to 2023. That'll happen because of the Jack Eichel trade. So tune in Tuesday, should be good. Hoping to have a couple of videos to complement that. So stay tuned for the updates. Can't wait to see where the Kraken fall on the official draft board that will happen later in July. All right, so let's take a look at some of the headlines around the league as we dive into the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. You've got all sorts of things going on. You've got Samsonov going in goal for the Caps as they go back home and try to get the edge in that series against Florida. You've got the Predators with Ingram in goal with Saros still out. You've got Evander Kane scoring a lot of goals. You've got on-ice and off-ice officials getting banged up. It's been chaotic, so let's take a quick look here. For Pittsburgh, you had that news break that Casey DeSmith was going to be out the remainder of the playoffs. That lower body injury to Tristan Jarry earlier in the year, so he was backing up. Casey DeSmith came in as the playoff starter. He was injured midway through the second overtime against New York Rangers and then replaced by Louis Domingue. And he had a great fill-in there for Casey DeSmith, and then it turns out after the game that DeSmith is going to be out the rest of the playoffs with that injury, so Louis Domingue is going to be the guy for the Pittsburgh Penguins. We'll see how they do against the Rangers as we continue on in the Stanley Cup playoffs here. The Caps, like we talked about, going to Samsonov in goal. Also looks like Tom Wilson a little bit banged up. You also had Ovechkin banged up coming into the series, so a lot of injuries going on. It's that time of year, things start piling up. People trying to play despite all the injuries that they are probably suffering behind the scenes. You've also got Connor Ingram going in goal for the Nashville Predators. Played really well in relief there on Thursday night in Colorado. That game went to overtime. Colorado ended up prevailing, but you got to be energized if you're a Predators fan based on the performance by Ingram. We'll have to see how they do as they progress through that series. A couple of crazy incidents last night. You had one of the ice crew, ice shovelers ran into one of the linesmen on the ice. I hate to laugh, but it was kind of a crazy little collision there, and hopefully that guy's going to be all right. So you got to keep your head on a swivel, even if you're an official out there or one of the ice crew workers. Also, the game in Boston, the fans were so wound up they started hitting the glass there by the penalty box. One of the stanchions, I think, came loose, and the glass fell over onto the off-ice official, the timekeeper there, in the penalty box, hit him in the head, knocked him out cold. They had to stretcher him out, and I think he's going to be okay, but best wishes out to him. A little bit of a crazy incident. All sorts of... You never know what you're going to see in the Stanley Cup playoffs. All right, so let's look at the scores from last night real quick here. You had the Carolina Hurricanes up 2-0 in that series going into Boston. Boston really needing that win, and they got it 4-2. Kind of gaining some life now against the Hurricanes with that crucial Game 3 win. You never want to go down 3-0 in a series. That's usually going to be about it for you if you do. So, going to have to see how the Bruins do in the next game against Carolina. Again, back there in Boston at home, trying to get the series even. Toronto with a big win there on the road in Tampa, 5-2. Campbell had an amazing game, really gave the Leafs an edge, and really great to see their offense motoring so far through the playoffs. Tampa's going to have to be careful because it looks like Toronto is dug in and ready this year. Marc-Andre Fleury with those golden pads, playing golden, and the Wild just out to a crazy start against the Blues here. 5-1 with another victory, making that series 2-1, taking the lead there. And Minnesota feels like they're kind of getting on a roll, so let's keep an eye on that. St. Louis, on the other hand, got to bounce back here. Even that series, they've gotten wiped out a couple times now in consecutive games, so they're going to have to steady things and see what they can do as we move into Game 4 of that series. Edmonton just blasts the Kings 8-2 in LA, and man, love him or hate him, Evander Kane is playing some great hockey for the Edmonton Oilers. Had a hat trick last night, and they just look like they are dialed in right now. So the Kings going to have to try to struggle to get back in that. Again, they don't have Drew Doughty. He went down earlier in the year. He was out for the playoffs, out for the season. So an uphill battle there in LA for that team. A good mix of veterans and young guys as they develop and get some experience in the playoffs. But it looks like Edmonton has the edge there as we go into the fourth game of that series. So just a quick recap here. You've got the series tied. Panthers and Capitals, they're going right now, trying to see who can get the edge in that series. Maple Leafs now up 2-1 on the Tampa Bay Lightning. You've got the Hurricanes with the lead there, but Boston re-energized a little bit, so that series is 2-1 in Carolina's favor. You've got the Rangers and Penguins going. That series is tied 1-1. Avalanche and Predators, Colorado up 2-0. They had that dramatic win in overtime the other night. Cale Makar, an amazing goal, and the place just went absolutely crazy after Nashville had a fantastic performance in goal from Ingram to keep him in it throughout the game. Really, really entertaining game. I would recommend catching the next one in that series. You've got the Minnesota Wild up now 2-1. The Flames 1-1 with the Stars. The Stars there had a nice little comeback game in Game 2 and a lot of fisticuffs, a lot of entertainment there, so I've been watching that one a lot as well. Oilers, like I said, trying to get through that first round, really looking dominant last couple of games, so they're up 2-1 in that series. LA needs to bounce back or they're going to be golfing here pretty quick. So tonight's games, getting right back at it. The NHL Stanley Cup playoffs do not let you catch your breath very much. And you've got a game going right now, Florida Panthers, Washington Capitals. They started at 10 a.m. You've got Colorado facing Nashville at 1:30 West Coast time today. And then the Rangers and Pittsburgh Penguins face off at 4 p.m. And then you've got that nightcap at 6:30 p.m. Flames and Stars. Really should be an interesting one there. I can't wait to watch that. Definitely going to tune in throughout the day. I've got some chores. Want to get out in the yard. I'm hoping that the sun's going to hang in there. We'll see. But anyhow, that's going to do it for me on this edition of Morning Cup of Kraken. Really glad you guys stopped by. I got some things coming for you. Going to do some watch-alongs. Got some new things in the works here. And really looking forward to it as we go through the playoffs. I'll give you all the updates over on Twitter. That's at Sasquatch NHL. In the meantime, if you guys want to subscribe or hit that like button, it really helps me out. And I appreciate all the support as always. So we'll talk to you again here in the next couple of days. Make sure you tune in. Got those watch-alongs coming. We got the draft lottery coming. And man, it's going to be very, very busy as the playoffs kind of hit their stride here in the late spring. Anyways, have a great day, guys. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you real soon over here at Sasquatch NHL.